The story begins with a childhood video of MaXXXine dancing in a church, a sweet reminder of her early dreams. Now grown up, she's determined to become a famous actress. Today is a big day for her as she auditions for a director. Her performance is outstanding, and the director is impressed with her acting, confidence, and attitude. After the audition, MaXXXine drives back to her village. A colleague invites her to a Hollywood party, but MaXXXine declines, focusing instead on her upcoming work. After shooting a scene, MaXXXine receives an exciting call from her manager, letting her know she got the part in the movie she auditioned for. Overjoyed, she rushes to share the news with her friend who owns a shop below her apartment. They celebrate briefly before MaXXXine hurries off to practice dancing in a secluded room. As she dances in front of a mirror, she doesn't realize someone is watching her from behind the mirror. A man dressed in leather, growing increasingly angry as he watches her dance. Though furious, he doesn't act, and MaXXXine leaves the room safely. Later, as she walks through a dark alley, a man blocks her path. MaXXXine is scared but remains calm. She pulls out a gun and threatens him, turning the tables. The man, shocked, tries to back off, but MaXXXine humiliates him by making him strip and then crushes his body under her heels. She warns him, "The last time someone tried to kill me like this, I crushed their head," and walks away. Later that night, after watching a movie with her friend, MaXXXine is startled by her doorbell. No one is there, but an envelope is left outside. Inside, she finds a tape. When she plays it, disturbing scenes from her own life appear. Someone is trying to blackmail her. Soon, we learn that MaXXXine's colleagues who went to the Hollywood party have been kidnapped. Videos surface of them blindfolded, filmed by the same man who was watching MaXXXine. The next morning, MaXXXine goes to the studio to start her first horror movie role. During the filming process, she gets her face covered in wax and has to remain still for a long time. At one point, she feels as if a ghost is strangling her, but she survives the unsettling moment. Meanwhile, two detectives discover the bodies of MaXXXine's colleagues, each marked with an odd symbol. As MaXXXine finishes work and heads to her car, she finds a card with a phone number and a message, telling her to call. Reluctantly, she dials the number and learns someone wants to meet her at a hotel. When she arrives, she meets a detective for hire, who informs her that the person blackmailing her wants to meet her. If she refuses, they will expose all her past mistakes and ruin her future. Now terrified, MaXXXine returns home, where she finds detectives investigating her colleagues' murders. Although she had no role in the killings, she is frightened the police might uncover her involvement in something else. Still, she doesn't report the blackmailer, fearing it would only make things worse. Instead, she asks a friend to help her track down the blackmailer. MaXXXine's manager encourages her to focus on her movie and promises to handle the situation. But when MaXXXine fails to meet the blackmailer, her friend is brutally murdered. It turns out the detective is working with the blackmailer, and together they are determined to ruin MaXXXine's life. The next day, MaXXXine is horrified to see a crowd gathered outside her apartment. The police arrest her because all three victims were connected to her, and each body had the same strange symbol. They warn her she might be the killer's next target. Despite the danger, MaXXXine refuses to tell them anything and returns to the studio. On set, MaXXXine finds comfort in her co-actor, who offers kind words before heading off to another Hollywood party. Before leaving, she advises MaXXXine to follow the director's instructions carefully. After her co-actor leaves, the detective stalking MaXXXine reappears, this time with a gun. Terrified, MaXXXine runs into the house where the movie is being filmed. Luckily, security steps in and stops the detective before he can harm her. The director notices MaXXXine is shaken and gives her the weekend off, suggesting she resolve her personal issues before they interfere with the movie. Taking the director's advice, MaXXXine decides to confront the problem head-on. That night, she attends a party where the detective is also present. Luring him into a secluded garage, MaXXXine and her manager knock him out and place him inside a car. They crush the vehicle, ensuring the detective and the evidence are destroyed. Feeling victorious, MaXXXine returns home. But then she remembers her co-actor, who had gone to the same Hollywood party where her colleagues were killed. Worried for her safety, MaXXXine rushes to the Hollywood Hills with the police close behind. When she arrives, there's no party, but she hears familiar voices inside. Entering the house, she sees a video of herself as a child performing the church dance. This leads her to the room where her colleagues were murdered. Shocked, MaXXXine discovers that the blackmailer is none other than her father. He reveals that he has been looking for her for years. Believing that Hollywood corrupts people with horror films, he murdered her colleagues, branding them with a symbol to stop the spread of sin. MaXXXine had come to save her co-actor, but she is too late. Her co-actor is already dead. As MaXXXine stumbles in horror, she kicks a suitcase, revealing the severed head of her co-actor. Before she can process the scene, her father knocks her out. When she wakes, she is tied to a chair, surrounded by her father's followers. He plans to perform an exorcism to cleanse her of her sins, just like his previous victims. Before her father can finish the ritual, the detectives burst in, shooting and causing chaos. Many of her father's followers are killed, but her father manages to escape. Furious, MaXXXine chases after him. Their final confrontation happens at the Hollywood Hills sign. Both injured, MaXXXine and her father face off. As the police helicopter closes in, MaXXXine realizes that if she kills her father, a serial killer, she will be seen as a hero and gain even more fame. Without hesitation, she crushes his head, ending his life. The movie concludes with MaXXXine attending the premiere of her new film. Just as she predicted, she is now famous, with crowds listening to her interviews, marking the rise of her stardom. However, the dark and deadly path she took to get there remains hidden from the world.